In 2018, Oxford Rail introduced their initial range of Mark III coaches. I passed on their intercity coaches due to colour match issues, but I had seen enough to spark my interest in their British Rail blue-grey variants when they became available. Let's see what I discovered. Hi, thanks for joining today's review. As usual, I'm splitting the review into sections so you can hop to the sections of interest as required. First off, we'll do an unboxing, and this is actually where I encountered most of my issues with these coaches. Then we'll do a close-up view of the coaches, followed by a running session to see how they perform and look on the layout. We'll finish off with a summary, scoring, and final recommendation. I do have a bit of a rant session at the very end of the video, which is in relation to one of the out-of-box failures I encountered, so you can skip to that at the very end if you wish to look at that. Okay, let's get going. Hi, welcome to today's review. So today we're looking at the Oxford Rail 00 gauge Mark IIIa coaches in the blue and grey livery. So we're going to take a look at these. I've got three coaches here. I've got a second open, I've got a first open, and I've got the buffet car. Okay, so we're going to take a look at all three, and we'll take a close-up look, and then we'll do a running session with these as well to see how they actually perform. So if I give you 2 minutes, I'm actually going to open these up now, and then we can take a closer look. Okay, we've taken all three of the coaches out of the box, so I've just got them like this and still in their protective cover. So we'll take a quick look just what you get in the box. Very basic in terms of detailing kit. Now that's, to a degree there's a lot of detail added to the coaches. I guess what's missing here, and it jumps out at you straight away compared to the Hornby equivalents, if I compared, say, the Hornby Mark III's intercities, I don't have alternative couplers in here, and I don't have the buffers. So it's going to be interesting to see if the buffers can actually be removed, which would be the case if you were running this with the HST. You would not have the buffers installed. So this is a little bit of a concern, I guess, straight out the box looking at that. We'll take a look at the second open first. Okay, and let's go and see what we got here. So seem to have some little bit of a detailing part in the base there, so I have to figure out where that came from, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So let's just take a first look. I mean, the first thing is the color, and I think the color looks pretty good. Bit of dust there. This does look pretty good, and I think this is the kind of color match I was hoping for. So we will do a very close-up view of these of some detailed photographs, and we'll do a 360, so we'll get a closer look. If I look at the buffers, they look to be fixed. They are. So they cannot be removed. So this is the kind of configuration you'd have with the Mark III's with either a class 47 or 57. You'd have the buffers on like this, but not if you were to have them with the HST, those buffers would be off, and so you don't really have an option here. So that's a bit of a downer versus the Hornby coach, the equivalent. Just looking at the wheel detail, some very nice little wheel detail there. We'll see that when we do again the side-on view. In general, there's a nice level of detail. It's like the detailing parts have kind of been pre-installed here in general, so you can kind of see them around the back there, and I suppose this is one of the things that Oxford are known for. And I do like the paintwork around the door. The white doors and the actual windows in the doors are marked out outlined with black paint as well, and it's very nicely done. So you got some labels there, some detail. So overall, it looks really good. You've got no smoking there on the windows. You see the sign of the times for these coaches. So visually, the coach looks really good. It's got the nice rails at the top there, the hooks for removing the top piece there, and overall some pretty good roof detail. However, you've got this issue with the buffers. Now the next thing I'm looking at is the actual bogie and coupler assembly, and I do see that we've got this kind of spring-loaded assembly here, which is separate from the actual bogie itself. Now I've seen this on other coaches. it's not. It's a different assembly on the Mark IIIs from Hornby. I might take a look at one of those before we're finished. You can just see it there with that little spring. The only problem with this is this type of assembly can be a little bit delicate, and the 3 coaches I have here are fine, but in total out of 8 coaches that I purchased, well, I purchased 7 actually. 2 of them had problems. This was broken. The spring assembly here was broken. The little plastic piece that holds the spring was broken off internally, and you really can't fix that. It's not very easy to fix that. It's quite delicate, so the coaches are not really much use to you. This bar actually hangs down. I do have a piece of B-roll footage, and that was when I got the replacement coach from Rails, and the replacement actually had the exact same issue, and I had to send it back. I just looked for a refund. I didn't want to get another coach at that point in time. So this was an issue I've had. So I actually had 3 failures out of 8 coaches in this assembly here. So it's going to be interesting to see when this is running, how this fares out and how robust that assembly actually is. It's pretty scary to get 3 failures out of 8 like that. So straight away I do have a concern regarding potential reliability or robustness of these coaches. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's just hold with that one there, and I'll actually take up a Hornby coach and actually show you the same part, and you can kind of see the difference. Okay, I've just got a Hornby Mark III here, which it's in the Swallow, Intercity Swallow livery. Just wanted to kind of show the difference here for this particular part of the assembly. So you can see that the actual coupler is connected directly to the bogie. It's a simpler assembly. It's in some cases people wouldn't see it as prototypical, or that it wouldn't maybe perform as well. So performance-wise, not an issue. These things, I run these at the max speeds of my HSTs, and I've never had a problem with this. Also, you'll notice the coupler there. It's an alternative coupler. These couplers are more reliable. These are the old Lima type couplers, and they are more reliable at high speed. You can with the tension lock couplers, you can get them disconnecting, and I've had that, and there's nothing worse than running a high speed train and half the coaches falling off the back, and eventually your motor coach running into them as it goes around the circuit. So that's not a very nice thing to happen. These coaches are very secure and they run very well under high speed. Also, you'll notice there's no buffers on here. The buffers come in the detailing kit. So again, that's something that's a little bit better, and you don't have the same level of detail here obviously as you have. You can see that around the body here as you have on the Oxford coach. It has a much nicer end detail there. But Hornby, I suppose functionally, this is more reliable. It's not going to break. I've never seen these break. These couplers, very good at performance-wise, and the buffers, you do have the option of installing them or leaving them out. So they're left out right now for running with the HST, and that's fine. The last thing I want to talk about, and again, everything I've got out of the box here, apart from the loose part, which I need to find out where that came from. I think I can see actually. I think it's on here. I think it's this little part here. See that? It's come loose. Now, one of these coaches, when I got them all out of the box, I did check them because once I saw one of them fail, I went through each of them to check them. One of the boxes I got, do you see this little foot plate here under the door? Now that's a removable piece, and in one of the boxes, all 4 of those were actually in the box. They were not on the model. They were in the box, just kind of floating around in the box. So you have to kind of pick them out and replace them yourself, and that's a common problem with these coaches. I know that's been highlighted by other reviewers, and it's not great. And you know, the worst thing is you start losing these around your layout, perhaps they fall off, and then you've got a partial part of your coach missing, right? So I think that and the concern over this coupling assembly here are two real worries that I have. Apart from that, the coach visually is really good. I mean, the color finish is good. So there's nice detail on this coach, and so I've no complaint there. But there's a few issues, and I suppose I think I knew about 1 or 2 of them. There's a few new ones that I hadn't quite realized. So we'll see how they fare out over the rest of this review, and when we actually get this thing onto the track. Okay, so let's take a look at the other 2 coaches, and then I'll just get the other 2 out now, and we'll take a look at them, and then we can go to the next part of the review. Okay, so we've just got the other two coaches out of their boxes. Just to show you this little part that was floating around in the box, where it actually comes from. It sits on the bogie here. You can probably just see it there, and there's a little hole for mounting it, and you can just see the little mounting hole in there. So that's obviously where that guy goes, and I'll just put him in there, and hopefully he fits okay, and he does. And so we'll just get that part in place. So there he goes, he's on now. So just something to watch for. You might find a few of these in your box. You might find a few of these guys in your box when you get one of these coaches. So just keep an eye out for that. Okay, so let's take a look at the other two coaches. So this is the first open. I suppose what strikes you is a very wide yellow band at the top there, very wider than what you'd normally be used to. Otherwise, the coach detail is pretty well identical. The same coupling kind of arrangements there. Same detail at the end. The buffers, etc. The rest of this is pretty well as we already looked at, and as I say, we will do a quick close-up of these afterwards. And so let's take a look at the restaurant buffet car, and again similar levels of detail. Just checking it's got all its little parts there connected. It does. Different color on the back door there, and see the restaurant area of the buffet coach. So nice, it's a nice buffet coach, looks nice, and again nice detail overall. I mean, I think the coaches, they look good, appearance is really good. A few items of concern we'll get, and as I said, a few things to watch for. I can just see, look, that guy's a little bit loose there now. You can just see that he's hanging out a little bit. So I think jury's out. I think let's take a look at this at the end of the review. As I said, I have had some failures with these, 3 in total out of a batch of 8, plus the one coach that had all of the little foot plates floating around in the box, which obviously I was able to fix that myself. I didn't need to send that back. But that's a concern, a reliability concern, and these coaches sell at the same sort of price as the Hornby coaches, so and those Hornby coaches are really reliable, and if you ever get fed up with them, you can sell them on. If these guys get broken, you're going to have a real job selling these on, because you'll effectively have a useless coach. So that's just a thought, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Okay, so we're going to do a close-up view of each of these coaches now. We'll do a 360 view of the 3 coaches together, and then we'll get into the running session. Okay. Okay, now we're going to take a close-up view of the 2 of the models. Actually, we're going to look at the first open and the restaurant buffet, and you can see a lot of that detailing around the ends of the coaches. Some good detailing on the bogies. A very nice finish overall, and a very nice color. I do like the blue on these coaches. I think it's very prototypical and very nice. And the coaches have a good overall look on the track. A lot of nice detail around the windows. Very good paint registration. Lettering is very, very clear. Again, some good underbody detail at the bogie ends there. Nice windows, nice glazing in general, and some nice detail around the buffet car. Actually, when you actually can look in the windows, there is good detail within the buffet car itself. And again, some nice detail at the very end, and we'll get to see the end of the coaches a bit more in the next section, which is the 360 view. So this has got all 3 different coach variants. I'm just giving a view from the top, and again, nice, particularly nice buffet car detail on the roof. You'll see some nice venting on the roof there, which is unique to that. And they're at the end of the coaches here, which really has all the main detail. And this is infinitely better than the ends of the Hornby coaches. And I think I've got a side-by-side view, as you'll have seen earlier. These do look an awful lot better, the ends of these coaches, than the Hornby equivalents. So really, in summary, these are really good-looking coaches, and there's no doubt about it. The extra detail that's been added to them does improve things, but just the better color, some better roof detail, the better end detail in general just makes them a better-looking coach than their Hornby equivalents. There is no doubt about that. And so really the next question is their running performance, and we'll take a look at that in the next section now. So here we are in the running session. So we're being pulled at the moment by a Class 68. We've got a 5-car rake here, 2 first opens, buffet car, and 2 second opens, buffet car in the middle. And so nice looking coaches, and really what I wanted to discover from this particular session was how they perform on the track, and over any kind of things like points and diamonds, etc. as well, and how they perform at speed. Obviously having some concerns over the coupling assembly and its robustness, and I suppose what this won't show is the long-term robustness of that, but at least it'll give us a feel for how these coaches run. And I put this through its paces now in terms of the speed grades. So we'll run these up to the maximum speed, prototypical speed of this particular locomotive. It's not quite as fast as the HSTs, so a HST would be putting an added strain in terms of speed on this. So I haven't done that here. These coaches, as I said, really seem to be targeted for locomotive applications because of the buffers being installed. So we're at a mid-speed now, and we're kind of got up to our top speed. And I suppose in summary, I didn't have any issues. I've run these multiple times at top speed around the layout, and I have not had any issues with them. That is, I've only run them on radius 3s and radius 4 curves, so you may have some slight more issues if you do run them on a tighter radius. I will bring it to a close now. But in general, the running performance of these was as good as their Hornby equivalents, absolutely no issues at all. And so while I still have the misgivings in terms of the long-term robustness of those couplers, they certainly didn't show in the running session today. Okay, now let's look at a summary. So we've been looking at the Oxford Rail MK3a blue-grey coaches, and there's 7 variants across 3 different coach types, the TSO, RUB and FO types, and I'll go through those over the next couple of slides. They come with standard NEM couplers. The buffers are fixed, so you don't have the option of removing them for a HST operation. There's a lot of added detail at either end of the coach, and this is really one of the main characteristics of these coaches. There's a minimal detailing kit. The typical selling price is between £32 and £37.95, which is the RRP. And then we go through the different coach types. This is the first open, weighing in at 173 grams, and there's 2 variants of that, as you can see there. Then we have the second open, again weighing in at 173 grams, and there's 3 variants of this coach type. And then finally we've got the restaurant unclassified buffet, slightly heavier at 176 grams, and we've got 2 variants of this. So the scoring. So the running performance on these coaches is really good, and the only reason I'm giving a 4.5 star here is I wasn't able to finish a final run on with the HST level of speed, and also I just have that lingering concern regarding the couplers going forward. So this is 4.5 stars, really good. I didn't find any issues during the running session, as I said, and this is 4.5, possibly 5 star. Appearance and detail, again 4.5 star. And the only thing I did notice was a little bit of smudging around some of the window areas on a couple of the coaches up close. Otherwise, these are very good looking coaches, and no doubt about it, and the colour matching and overall colour registration is very good, and the detail is very good, particularly at the ends of the coaches, and is superior to the Hornby coaches. The extras is really around the detailing, which is essentially, the detailing has been pre-applied to the coaches. Now, there is an issue which I cover in the next score, which is around various pieces falling off, etc., and appearing in the box, and that's really the whole area of the build quality. And I think that's one aspect of my score here of 2.5 star. The other aspect is around the coupling assembly. And the weaknesses there, the 3 out of 8 faders that I had. I have put in a request into Oxford Rail really to give a response on this in terms of what's the warranty situation if these happen to fail 3 months, 6 months down the line, and also if they are looking at any improvements in terms of the design. The price value, 3.5 star, which is a little bit less than the Hornby score, and again that's tainted by the fact of the quality issues, which means that your resale price on these could be low. If you do have a coupler failure, then you're going to have a problem. You can probably repair it yourself, and that certainly is feasible. It's not going to be easy, and it won't be elegant, and so your resale value, if you do have that failure, will be a problem. And certainly I don't think these coaches are worth the $37.95 RRP. The overall score is 3.5 star, and then again that is tainted by the quality issues that I experienced. And really the summary is, these are very good looking coaches. I do have the rake on my layout. I'm happy with it. If you were to purchase these coaches and not experience any of the issues that I had, then these scores would be obviously higher, and this would be a strong recommendation. I can't ignore the fact that I did have 3 failures out of 8. There are the issues with detailing parts still falling off, and you would have to replace them or glue them in to avoid that. You don't have optional couplers, which I would like to have as well. There are a number of niggling issues here, and the quality one is the biggest concern, and the issue of the couplers. So my overall recommendation is they're worth considering, and if you're happy enough to take the risk and be prepared to either get a warranty replacement, we'll see what Oxford come back with. I will publish any of their response in the comments section below when I get it, so I will refer back to that, and hopefully they will honour a warranty, at least a 12-month warranty, I would hope, if there was a failure during normal usage, and so we'll see what that response is. So if you are happy enough to live with the risks associated with this, obviously an out-of-box failure, you can just return it. But if you're happy with all of that and a couple of the limitations of the coupler, the buffers, then these are really good coaches. I can't flaw them. They're really nice. I like them more than the previous blue-grey Hornby coaches I had, and they are infinitely better in terms of the end detail and the colouring and everything around the gangway area is definitely superior than the Hornby coaches. So that's it. They're worth consideration. I can't give them highly recommended or anything like that because of this cloud, I suppose, of quality that hangs over them, but they are nice coaches. They do perform well from what I've seen so far. What is their long-term robustness going to look like? I don't know, and so I will probably do a follow-up maybe in 6 months' time to cover off that and cover off any other experience in the meantime. I think resale price is an important consideration, and a broken coach that you can't sell, or you can't sell for anything of a decent amount, is not good. Whereas typical Hornby Mark IIIs do sell at maybe 80% of their original purchase price, which is nice, and that to be able to sell on your coaches is important. So that's a real consideration and a concern I would have with these Oxford coaches, quite apart from just the failures you may have during operation. Okay, that's the main part of this review today. Thanks for joining. It's a mixture of positive and negative here. I do have one last sort of rant section, which you're welcome to listen to, which was really my response to receiving a replacement from Rails, which actually had the same failure, which I was getting a replacement for initially. So you're welcome to listen to that section, or either you can finish here. And I say thanks for joining. Hope to see you on many of these reviews in the future. I will be reviewing the Stobart Mark IIIa coach from Oxford Rail. I'll do a short review on that. Not a very nice looking coach, and then I have a lot of other reviews to come after that. So thanks for joining. Hopefully see you on the next one. Please give me your comments below if you have these Oxford coaches. I would be interested in seeing your feedback on them, and any comments, good, bad or indifferent. Okay, bye for now, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, I've just got this returned coach from Rails. It was the restaurant buffet car from Oxford, which did have a problem with the coupling assembly on it. I'm just going to take a look at this guy now, which I've just got back. And let's just see. I mean, these are nice looking coaches, but unfortunately you can see the problem I've got. So there she is, another broken coupling assembly, and if I turn this over, you'll see that the assembly, that there's normally a spring mount in there. If I bring it over the far side, you'll see it. See that little spring effect that's in there, and so that's what you should have. and that's what I don't have over here. So this guy is basically kind of just falling out. There's no spring to bring him back into place. You'd probably get by hooking this up to an existing coach that was working, but that's really not good enough. This is the third coach of 8 coaches of this Oxford Rail MK3 that has had this problem for me, and this is just not good, and it's actually really disappointing that this is a return, and I've had to go through the cost of the postage for this. I'm based in Ireland, so I don't get the postage sticker doesn't work for me when I'm sending this, so I have to pocket that myself, and now I've got to send this back again, and I'm not going to be looking for a replacement this time. I'm going to be looking for a refund. I don't want another one of these. So this is really disappointing, and I like these coaches. This is actually quite a loose coach. Actually, it's not good at all. So I'm not impressed with this at all. I'm not impressed with getting this as a return either from Rails, and I'll be letting them know that fact as well. So this is not good, and I think Oxford Rail, who I will be contacting because I've just seen too much of this. This is just not good enough to have this sort of poor quality. Look at that. Look how loose that is now. Obviously somebody maybe attempted to repair this and it didn't work out. I don't like this type of assembly anyway because it is too weak, but 3 failures out of 8 is not good, so very, very disappointing. Okay, so just thought I'd share that with you. Buyer beware, and very disappointing from Oxford. This just isn't good enough. You know, to be honest, if this is a fundamental problem, these coaches should be recalled, and this just fixed properly. But that assembly is not a recipe for success, unfortunately. That's poor design, and this is the result. Okay, what can I say? I'm really disappointed, and I did get another restaurant buffet from. I did do a separate order into Hatton's. That coach actually is okay. I did have a problem with one of the other Hatton's coaches, and that's gone back as well. But this is, let's say, the third failure out of 8 coaches. This is really poor. Enough said.